Alright guys, as promised, the story of how I got my 36. 2 summers ago, good buddy of mine, Joe, gave me a call from a tag sale. I know that's probably not a term some of you have heard before. Tag sale is basically an estate sale, garage sale. It's just what we call them in the Northeast. Anyways, gave me a call from the tag sale, said, hey, you know, this guy's got some early Harley stuff and some of it looks like Knuckles stuff. I'm like, no fucking way. There's no way. He's like, no, really, you should get down here. And my buddy Joe knows enough to where, you know, I take his word for it. So unfortunately, I was an hour and a half away picking up a car I had just bought, and I had my dogs with me, and I literally just finished loading the car. So the entire way home, I'm stressing that someone's gonna go to this tag sale, see this stuff, and buy it before I can get there. So I peel home as fast as I can, get the dogs in the house, you know, hop in my van, just leave the truck, trailer, and car right in the driveway, and I drove straight to the tag sale. Ended up meeting the owner, super nice guy. We're still good friends to this day. We chat quite a bit. And I ended up buying a huge parts lot off him. And after that, he goes, you know, I used to own a motorcycle shop. We're closing down now, you know, after 20 so years in business. And if you want, you can come down. I have some early stuff there too. So after about a week, we arranged it to where it worked with both our schedules. And I went there, he brought me down in the basement, and it was filled with early stuff mixed in with newer takeoff stuff from, you know, the 20 or so years they'd been in business. So I ended up going down there, I looked through everything, and he goes, you can either buy everything that's early or nothing at all. He didn't want to piecemeal it, and I get it. He was just trying to get rid of the stuff. He was getting out of the game and just wanted it gone. So I said, yeah, okay. So I ended up buying out that lot as well. My good buddy Cam came through, helped me, you know, he had us a huge Sprinter van, and it filled my truck, my trailer, and his Sprinter van with just parts. Ended up getting it back to my garage, spreading everything out, and after all the dust had settled, I realized I had a good chunk of 36 stuff. So I kind of put it to the side, you know, with the intentions of maybe someday I'll be able to build a 36. So a few days after that, I get a phone call from the same guy, and he goes, hey, I have a frame and a motor, 36 frame, 36 motor, and I would be interested in selling them if you're interested in buying them, but they're in my house, they're at my house in Florida. It's like, okay, so you know, after a little while going back and forth, he sent me some photos, and he told me that the motor and frame had been done by Jim Long before he passed away. So, I mean, that's pretty good pedigree in my book. So I knew that the frame, you know, and the motor would be great. So I ended up flying out. We made a deal on them, along with a couple other parts. I flew back home and had these guys shipped, the frame, motor, and the frame was actually all sandblasted down to bare metal, so I could really get a good look at it, and the work was beautiful. It was gorgeous. The motor came with everything you see here, minus the air cleaner and the carburetor. And I got everything home, and I started piecing it together in my garage. I'll show you guys some photos of that as, you know, the video goes on, so you can kind of see what I had to work with in the beginning. And then from there on, it was on. You know, I decided, fuck it, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna give it as best as I possibly can. So, bought a Bruce Palmer's, you know, ended up making a lot of really good contacts through the vintage motorcycle world, and I can't speak highly enough of the guys that I've met. You know, they've helped me out so much through all of this. And it's just restoring something and then building something, it's just, it's night and day. Like, the choppers to me is like cooking. You know, you have a recipe that you can kind of go off of, but you can also throw your flavor into it and have a little bit of your flair in there, and you know, it's still okay. With the restoration, it's like baking. Like, you can't stray from the path. It's gotta be perfect. It's gotta be exactly how it was, or some people will fucking eat you alive on it. So, me being as stubborn as I am, I just wanted to build this bike as best as I possibly could. And I've kind of put a lot of pressure on myself to do so, but like I said, I can't speak highly enough of the guys that I've met that have helped me out, that always answer my texts and my calls, and I'm sure I'm driving them nuts. But I don't know. I don't even know why they do it, other than they must be really good people, you know, and they probably want to make sure that a bike like this is as good a quality as possible, you know. And to me, it's still, every time I see the bike, it kind of is like, holy fuck, I can't believe I own this thing. You know, I never in my wildest dreams would expect to own something like this. So that's why I think I've put so much pressure on myself, and I've put it on such a high pedestal. Like, I know to some people this isn't shit, but to me, this is probably what I'm most proud of ever in owning all the stuff that I have. This is it. But instead of me blabbing about it and continuing to bore you, I'll just go through it with you guys. Hardest part so far to find was this 2-bolt M5 actually. It took forever to hunt it down, but I was able to get one through some trading and wheeling and dealing, so I was super stoked on that. Motor is early. It's one of the first 310 ever made. It's got the early cam cover. People are controversial about when they stop using that, but it's on that motor, so it is what it is. I chose this color because I'm a Chevy guy, and it looks like one of the old 55, 56 color combos they had back in the day, and I just love it. It spoke to me. Every nut and bolt, is the correct plating as far as I know, and I have fucked up. I've just laughed it off and moved on. Like, I didn't put the ride control in before I put the front fender on the fork. Putting this front fender on this fork was one of the things that I've been dreading, and now I have to pull it off and do it again because I screwed up. And I'm sure I'll screw up plenty more along the way. Tall gas caps, real deal. Dash, real deal speedo, gauges, the ignition switch, 1 year only, really hard to find. I've just been really fortunate with all this stuff, and I still do have a long ways to go, but I figured I'd let you guys see what I've got so far. These decals, water transfer, only one guy that I know of that makes them, the proper decals. I ordered up a set. I did them at this kitchen table, never done water transfer before, and it was a lot of fun. This whole process has been killer. It's cool to build this alongside with the 41 knuckle I've got in the garage because they're kind of night and day. When I'm sick of one, I go work on the other. But as I go, I'll definitely keep you guys updated on this thing. And hopefully you guys will see it rolling by the end of this winter. All right, cool. Thank you so much.